Hello and welcome back to The Economic Gamer. I'm your host, Mr. Wei. Today we're going to be talking about the question, how much is the hero's journey actually worth? With the subtext, for you veteran gamers in Clash of Clans, how much did Supercell betray their most loyal player base with this June 26th update? The first thing that I want to address is why the popular YouTube creators do not address questions like this. If there's something very negative for the company, you will find that it is not spoken about by all the popular creators. And the simple answer is because they work for Supercell. They don't exactly directly work for the game, but they are more like contractors who have been hired out to provide marketing for the game. And if you violate the terms of the agreement that they have, then they can remove all your videos and remove you from the program, in which case you would lose all that income that you've worked so hard to generate, right? So all of those creators, some of whom make very entertaining content, they're not really free to talk negatively about the game. And there's one very famous example of one of them who did start criticizing Supercell and no longer produces videos. One of the ways that Supercell enforces this is that they have copyrights, and they can use those copyrights to force YouTube to remove any videos that include images from their game, sounds from their game, music from their game, or even footage, right? So anything that includes their game, they can take down, which is why in my videos, I will not use anything that belongs to Supercell so that they do not have that leverage and I can speak completely openly and honestly in an uncompromised way. So, let's talk about the facts. The hero's journey has a lot of ore rewards. That's kind of the main purpose of it. And so what they have here are, you get 12 epic equipments, and they come at these levels. The first one is level 1, the next one is level 6, the next one is level 9, the next 4 after that will be level 12, and the last 5 will be level 15. They also provide ore chests, which there are 37 nodes distributed from Town Hall 8 to Town Hall 18. And what you get out of those chests is random. Although it's not that random, it's going to be these numbers here, depending on your town hall, plus or minus 50 for the shinies, plus or minus 5 for the glowies, and plus or minus 1 at the start for starry ores, and plus or minus 5 at the end as well. So you can see, theoretically, if you waited until Town Hall 18, you could get much greater rewards for the hero's journey in terms of starry ore. And in particular, you can notice that there's this gigantic jump in value when you go from Town Hall 14 to Town Hall 15. Okay, so if you take all of that and you add it up, here we have the value that you get from upgrading all of those equipments if you started at level 1 and upgraded them by yourself all to level 6, 9, 12, and 15. And here we have from the ore chests, I gave 2 estimates. The low estimate is assuming that you do 3 chests, that is 3 nodes of 3 chests per town hall level, which is a pretty I think that's a realistic estimate if you are playing through the game by maxing everything before you upgrade your town hall. And then the high estimate is if you actually kept all of your heroes at level 1 all the way until you get to Town Hall 18 and then started completing the hero's journey track. And obviously that would be a big pain because you'd have to basically play the game without heroes until Town Hall 18. I mean, they'd be level 1, but you get what I mean. So that's where those estimates came from. These, when you put them together, if you are not rushing, then you're going to probably get somewhere around this amount from all of those items in the hero's journey. And if you do rush all the way to Town Hall 18, you would get this amount. I should also mention this does not include the loose ore amounts that you get on the hero's journey. Like sometimes it says you'll get such and such amount of this ore. I'm only here counting the chests because the veteran players actually do receive all of the other things anyway. So I'm focusing on what you don't get if you already have high level heroes. Now I want to put those numbers into perspective because, right, they look big, but how much is that exactly? So I'm going to talk about it in terms of free-to-play average daily ore that you receive. In order to talk about the average daily ore you receive, you have to make some assumptions because there are variables that determine how much you're going to get. So what I'm assuming is that you will be at the highest league for your daily star bonus, that you will be fighting against highest possible opponents in war. I will assume that your war ratio is 1 win, 1 draw, 1 loss. Note that this is very similar to what's probably right now a more realistic meta ratio of like 1 win, 8 draws, 1 loss. It would come out to pretty much the same anyway as what I did calculate. I'm assuming that you are using your raid medals from the clan capital to buy Starry and Glowy War every week. I'm assuming that you finish the monthly event all the way and get all of the bonus tokens, and I'm also assuming that you use 3,100 of those tokens either for new equipment or for other stuff, and that you end up spending 1 for Starry Ore and 1 for Glowy Ore per month. And from that, I can get these totals. Also, I should mention there are other sometimes irregular bonuses, like just now we had the event where your clan gathers elixir and you can get a bunch of chests. I did not include anything like that because it's not predictable in the long term. So in real life, you'll actually get probably slightly more than these over the long run, depending on what kinds of events Supercell decides to roll out. Now we have a daily rate and we have the total amount from the hero's journey, so we can see how many days of progress in terms of shiny and glowy and starry ore you get from the hero's journey. So we just take the total amount you get from the journey and we divide that by the average daily rate that I just calculated on the previous slide, and you can see for shiny you get somewhere from 93 to 107 days. For glowy, you get somewhere from 100 to 113 days, and for starry, you get 166 to 324 days, and you'll notice there's a much bigger variation possible for the starry ores. As mentioned before, right, there's a huge jump from Town Hall 14 to 15. With starry ores, you're getting so much more at Town Hall 18 than you would at Town Hall 8. That's why you can have such a big variation. So if you are still actually very early in the hero's journey, I recommend that you rush to Town Hall 15 before you start progressing your heroes further. Another way of looking at it is how much of your total ore requirements does it fulfill? So what I mean is to max out all of the existing equipment, that's 24 common equipments and 17 epic equipments. How much is the total of the hero's journey worth? And what we're looking at is 12.4 to 14.4% for shiny, 11% to 12.5% for glowy, and from 15.5 to 30% for starry ores. So it is quite substantial in terms of overall progress, right? Especially because starry ore is the limiting factor in most cases. It makes it very worthwhile. So that kind of sucks for the players who miss out on it, right? Because you don't get so much starry ore. One last way of thinking about this in terms of time is if you're the player who did not receive these bonuses, you instantly feel the loss of them because you can see there's all these things that are closed off that you will never receive. On the other side of it, players who don't have their heroes leveled up do not receive these rewards immediately, right? They only receive them as they unlock heroes on the journey, right? So starting to get the maximum out of this hero's journey, they would have to have everyone at level 1, which means that they would have 4 years, 10 months, and 29 days of builder time ahead of them. Now, of course, you have more than one builder, so it's possible that you can divide that number, and I'm going to. I'm going to look at 2 scenarios, one where you're working on 2 heroes at a time, which means that you always have a full roster of heroes for doing attacks. I'm including the monthly book of heroes that you get for free, and the assuming that you have a maxed apprentice, and that you always apply him to heroes, always perfectly, never wasting any builder time. In that case, it's going to take almost 2 years for that player to receive all of the rewards on the hero's journey track. So I know for everyone who, like me, on my main account is missing so many rewards, it feels terrible. On the other hand, for other players, they're not just like receiving all of this right away. It will take a long time. The fastest they could possibly get it, working on 6 heroes at a time, also including these others, it would still take them 9 months to earn all of the rewards on the hero's journey. And that's also assuming that they already have Town Hall 18 and a fully maxed out Hall of Heroes, which, taking into account all the stuff you need to build to get to that point, this would be definitely more than 9 months. Okay, now I've dealt with facts, I just want to talk about my subjective personal opinion. 2 things that I have to say about this. One is that the hero's journey is an excellent catch-up mechanic, and they needed to do something like this. They needed to do something like this because there's a hard cap on how quickly you can progress through the ore economy, and it would, like, it's literally impossible to catch up to somebody who's been grinding for a long time. There's no way, because you can't even use gems to buy. You can use gems to buy a very small amount of hero ore every week, but it's very limited, and so you can't even pay to catch up, which is kind of an interesting thing for a microtransaction game. But they needed to do something to make it possible so that new players have some hope of at some point becoming competitive without spending so much of their lives. And this makes it possible for that to happen. And they did it in a way that is completely free to play, which is in a long tradition of Clash of Clans, a long tradition that I think we all appreciate, something that we've given their development team a lot of credit for over the years, and part of why the game continues to be such a fixture even after all these years. On the other hand, I find it shocking that they chose to have no reward at all for players who already have high-level heroes, like literally nothing. Some of us, like myself, are actually in the boat where we have really high-level heroes, but did not actually spend all that much time investing in the ore economy, and so now I am even farther behind. It's not a big deal to me because I actually haven't been playing this game very much for like the last year or two. And that's why, right? That's why I don't have a lot of ores unlocked. But to have absolutely nothing, like even the players who have been playing all this time, they're going to feel like they spent all this time and effort and made a lot of choices in the event store that got them to this point, and now they're being penalized for doing what was optimal play. And so we come to the obvious solution, which is that if they are preventing you from receiving any kind of reward, like they skip you over all of these chests that everyone else is going to get, they can compensate you for that. And the compensation that makes the most sense to me is the main complaint that I can see as being a legitimate complaint for players is that they have spent all this time over the last 3 years during those events trading in all of their tokens to get the new equipments, and also perhaps in some cases getting starry or glowy ore, because those are the extreme limitations, right? So even though you may have really wanted to work on your lab because that's the ultimate limiting factor in the game, or maybe you skipped over some cosmetic items that you thought were really neat because you didn't want to be uncompetitive if they change the meta and the new equipment is super good. You just were sort of forced, if you wanted to play the game very seriously, to give up on all those things. And now suddenly those decisions have been rendered useless, and you get nothing as a result, right? So what they should do, in my opinion, is for everything that you missed, they should just provide you with event tokens. And right, so like the early rewards will be much smaller, because if you miss a level 1 equipment, that's much less value than missing a level 15 equipment. If you missed Town Hall or the ore chests you would get at Town Hall 8, for example, that should be worth fewer than what you miss at Town Hall 18. So they can give a weighted amount of event tokens that you're then able to spend in a temporary event store, which should have all of the different cosmetic options that were available in the event stores for the last 3 years, basically. As well as the other options from those stores, but like a lot of them possible, right? So if you spent the last 3 years and you always wanted to get builder potions, for example, but you've been spending it on hero equipment that now is free, and you would have just taken those builder potions before, there should be a lot of builder potions available for you to get using those event tokens. I think this would cost them basically nothing to do, and I think it also is a pretty elegant solution that addresses exactly the issue that players are having, feeling cheated. And that's pretty much all I have to say in this video. I ask, please, if you liked this video and thought it was high quality, press the like button. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments if there's things that I didn't answer clearly, or other related topics, or even unrelated topics about Clash of Clans, or even another video game that you'd like for me to analyze in a similar way. Let me know in the comments. Subscribe if you really want to support me in providing objective and uncompromised analysis like this that Supercell would not allow their affiliated marketers to provide. Definitely subscribe. That lets me know that there's a market for this, and that it's really worth my time if a lot of people are benefiting from it. And toward that end, definitely share this video with other people if you think that they would enjoy it and learn something, or find it informative or insightful. So again, thank you for watching, and I hope to see you in some future videos.